I'm on Patreon, and Patreon is a platform where I will upload interesting videos where you can learn astrology. And this is an exclusive Patreon only membership videos where you will get some interesting takes on Vedic astrology, some interesting learning on Vedic astrology. Connect with me on Patreon and we will grow, and I will give you much more deep insights on Vedic astrology, and lot more secrets will be shared there. Hello seekers, welcome to Punneit Astrology, your one-stop astro channel. Ketu, which is right now in Anuradha Nakshatra in the sign of Scorpio, has almost completed its journey in this nakshatra. It was a life-changing transit in the Saturnian nakshatra, in the nakshatra of devotion, surrender, and that is what Ketu made us learn, especially from the life or the part of life that is ruled by Scorpio in our horoscope. Now the journey of Ketu in Anuradha is over, and on 8th of February, Ketu will transit in Vishakha Nakshatra. Ketu is forever a retrograde planet, therefore it will always go backward. So instead, if you are surprised that after Anuradha, why it is not in Jyeshtha, so the reason is that it goes retrograde, and that is why it will be in Vishakha on 8th of February. Until mid of October, Ketu will transit in this nakshatra. Now see, whenever a planet is retrograde, it will never enter the first pada. It will always enter the final pada, the fourth pada, and then make its way towards the first pada. So it is always 4, 3, 2, 1. That means it goes in the reducing order of the padas. And that is why when Ketu enters Vishakha, it enters into the fourth pada of Vishakha Nakshatra, because Vishakha is a nakshatra that has 3 padas in Libra and 1 pada in Scorpio. That means 75% of Vishakha Nakshatra happens to be in Libra zodiac sign, and only 25% is in Scorpio. But this 25% in Scorpio is a beautiful amalgamation of Jupiter and Mars and the power of Scorpio. It is Jnana and Vijnana, science and technology, knowledge and information, victory and ambition, a desire about the future, a hope that it will give for your life, that will also give you motivation and a new way, a new lease of life, a new direction. And this direction, don't be surprised, can go anywhere. So till the time, till 13th of April, Ketu will be in the sign of Scorpio in the 4th pada of Vishakha. But after that, till October, Ketu will be in the sign of Libra. So therefore, from Martian energy, Ketu will try to influence Venusian forces. And if you observe on 8th of February, when Ketu enters Vishakha Nakshatra in the sign of Scorpio, Mars and Venus happens to be in Sagittarius. Now for Vishakha, both Mars and Venus are very important because Libra and Scorpio are ruled by Venus and Mars respectively. Therefore, the combination of Mars and Venus in Sagittarius, where there is Mula Nakshatra, the nakshatra of Ketu, and then Ketu moving into Vishakha, and then the zodiac of Mars and Venus coming into play, it's a beautiful amalgamation of forces where predominantly the decision maker will be Jupiter. Why? Because on the day Ketu will make a move in this nakshatra, the dispositor of Ketu and the dispositor of Vishakha Nakshatra in Libra, that is Venus and Mars, are in the sign of Jupiter. Not only that, who is the planetary connection with the Vishakha Nakshatra? Who is the planetary lord of Vishakha Nakshatra? It's Jupiter. And where is Jupiter? If you observe, Jupiter is 4th from the sign of Scorpio. It is in the sign of Aquarius. And Aquarius is itself a zodiac sign that is symbolizing technology, humanity, humanitarian efforts, network circle, expansion, communication, healing process. And the nakshatra where Jupiter is Satbisha. This Shatbisha nakshatra is a nakshatra of Rahu. And when we talk about Ketu, how can we forget Rahu? So see the energy flow here. If Ketu and Rahu are in 2-8 Taurus Scorpio axis, Jupiter is in Leo Aquarius axis. This axis are cutting each other at square degrees because they are Ketu is square with Jupiter, Jupiter is square with Rahu. So that means the negativity of Rahu Ketu axis is countered by the presence of Jupiter in the sign of Aquarius and the nakshatra of Shatbisha. Therefore, the Ketu's movement in the Vishakha Nakshatra makes a tremendously positive movement. But before we try to interpret, before we try to join the dots, we have to understand a bit about this nakshatra, this Vishakha. Well, this means branching of something. The symbolization of this nakshatra is a triumphant arch, the arch of celebration of victory. It's like the gate. It can be a memorial gate, it can be a gate defining victory, which is a symbol of achievement. And when Ketu goes there, it makes you dream that you can also leave a legacy behind, you can have such kind of achievement in your life. And Jupiter in the sign of Shatbisha allows you to expand your arms in a way that you will be actually achieving what you desire. But wait, the planet that is in question is Ketu, which will demand sacrifice, karma, which will demand lot of things that has to be given up just to reach to the path, just to reach to the destination. Are you ready for that kind of sacrifice is the question Ketu transit in Vishakha will ask you. Before Ketu moves in the sign of Libra, the fourth pada of Vishakha in the Scorpio zodiac sign actually unsettles the mind in a great way. After all, this is a Scorpio zodiac sign. And when we talk about Scorpio zodiac sign, we definitely talk about the secrets. But this is the secret knowledge. This is the power of Vidya. So all of us, if we start praying to Ma Saraswati and we start focusing on the knowledge, we can actually achieve brilliant things from this transit. If you chant the mantra Om Aim Saraswatyay Namah and you seek the divine knowledge, then you will see that Vishakha Nakshatra will give you the knowledge that is necessary to have a bright future and how you can execute your karma so that you can reach to that goal, reach to that point of life where you can actually build a mini triumphant arch for yourself. It's like you can boast about your success. What is that mini triumphant arch in modern day and age? Say a certification, an appreciation mail, promotion. These are all symbols of success and achievement. So whichever line you are in, you can try for that success and achievement. But because Ketu is a planet that is a kind of moksha-kari planet, it liberates you from desire. The more you desire, the less you will achieve. Now that's the dilemma. Having an aim or ambition is different. But continuously living that desire, thinking about it every day, will only delay the process. Ketu in the Vishakha Nakshatra will also initiate a lot of branching of life. That means your life will go and find alternative path, alternative routes, and therefore it will give you a lot of confusion. So if you are a person who is in Ketu Antardasha, Ketu Pratyantardasha, somehow if your Scorpio is very much active right now, then you will see that you will face a lot of confusion, dilemmas. The bipolar nature of the events will confuse you a lot. Because Ketu wants you to take a side. When Ketu is in Scorpio, Ketu is asking you to leave one side and focus on the other. It's like you can't be on two boats. It is a time when you choose which boat you want to sit on, which path of life you want to take. Because Vishakha has a very unique property. It starts creating branches. Imagine a lightning strike. When you see the lightning bolt in the sky, it is not just one single bolt. It branches out into multiple arms, just like the neurons of the brain. If you see the neurons of the brain trying to attach, you will see it is just like multiple branches coming out of nowhere. Where do you see this? In the roots. In the roots of the plant, if you pluck a plant and see the roots, you will see one main root, and then there are a lot of subsidiary roots. This branching is the Vishakha's nature. And because of this branching nature, this can give you false sense of achievement and then deviate you from the path. Take it like a test. It's like a test for humanity where you will be asked to take the side and you will be judged on the basis of what side of life you take, whether you choose the light or you choose the darkness, whether you choose to be a good human being or you choose to be a bad human being. And you should be ready to justify your point. And you should be ready to work for the cause. You should be ready to sacrifice for the cause. But remember, you should also be very much aware about the cause in itself. Because if your cause is not right, then it doesn't matter what you believe, you will end up suffering because Saturn is in the sign of Capricorn. Especially when Ketu will go in the Libra zodiac sign and the Vishakha part which is in the Libra, it will start creating imbalance. I will make a video of Ketu transit in Libra zodiac sign, but that video will come around March or April month. But if we focus only on the Vishakha Nakshatra, we can definitely see multiple options. It's like an MCQ test in your life, and the multiple choice is only going to deplete your energy. Because if Ketu is in Vishakha Nakshatra, where is Rahu placed? Rahu will be in the Kritika Nakshatra. And Rahu will go in the Bharani Nakshatra. Because for the entire duration, for the 50% of Ketu's transit in Vishakha, Rahu will be in Kritika. Or Ketu transit in the first and second pada of Vishakha, focus on Rahu. Where is Rahu? Rahu is in the fourth and the third pada of Bharani Nakshatra. By the time Ketu literally moves in the sign of Libra, Jupiter will be in the sign of Pisces. That means Jupiter will be literally sixth from Ketu. The energy association of Ketu will be to fulfill your duty. And this will be a mammoth task in front of you. How can you choose a side? And that's a dilemma which we all will go through. And the best way to deal with that is do not take immediate decision. Do not focus on short-term goals. Focus on long-term goals. Think about the feasibility of action. Think about the consequences and make a very strong and firm decision, and you will have to stick to that decision because you have already taken a side. And just like multiple branches coming out, your future can deviate to any direction even with slight bit of karmic change, and this pattern will change immediately. This is very good for people who want to cut down the curses in their horoscope, who wants to get rid of the negativity, because they can easily deviate away from the negativity. But this is equally dangerous for people who are careless about their karma. They can easily deviate away from the dharma because Ketu here is only going to confuse you. This is a Ketu who is asking you to give up your sense of achievement and work for a higher purpose. Now let's quickly understand for each ascendant which area of life will need sacrifice, which area of life will demand branching, and can you capitalize on it or not. Aries Ascendant. For you, initially Ketu will be in the 8th house and then Ketu will move in the 7th house. If you talk about Vishakha Nakshatra, this is a confusion coming from business partners, in-laws, inheritance, properties that is associated with your wife or husband or spouse. This is a transit that can affect your sensual parts, sensual body parts, prostate glands. You will be prone to STDs. So you will have to be more hygienic, more careful. This can create difficulties and it can break marriages because Ketu in Libra in 7th house will never work positive for marriage. But this can also mean that you can branch out from a long pending court case, from a long pending problem in your life. It's like a scissor who will cut an animal who is stuck in the web of wires. Sometimes the cutting the cord is necessary. So when Ketu goes in Vishakha, it will ask you, what have you achieved? What have you achieved in this relationship? Are you going to achieve out of investment of time, money and effort? And when you deal with these situations, it can create make or break situations. This can also create separation between business partner, separation between spouse on the basis of career and education. There can be one partner traveling to different city, different country. So you will have to have a mutual agreement. And if you are running a Ketu Mahadasha or Antardasha, this effect will be pronounced more and this you will be under greater effect of the Ketu transit. And when Ketu is in this nakshatra, you should control your tamasic energies and you will have to give up those tamasic energy and you will have to go more sattvic. Some who have a very bad Ketu will have to practice celibacy for like 4-5 months and focus on more dharmic part, more spiritual energy so that your body can rejuvenate, your karma can be cleansed. For you, the best way to handle this transit is by practicing Anulom Vilom Pranayam. That's called Nadi Shodhan Pranayam that cleanses the Ida and Pingala. And whenever you are in confusion, remember, you will have to believe in yourself. Taurus Ascendant. Now for Taurus Ascendant, the Ketu movement will be from 7th to 6th house. Initially, it will create lot of dilemma about marriage, about business, about career. It will make you think more about yourself. And then suddenly it will start creating fear that what if I let it go? What will happen to me? So people who are looking for divorces, people who are looking for separation, you should be very careful because the decision that you will take, you may regret later on. So do not take any hasty decision. First try to reconcile, first try to solve the matter and choose for separation only and only if the matter has gone literally out of control and there is no way to revert back to the original self. Because when Ketu goes in Vishakha in 6th house, it means multiplication of enemies who want to win over you. Which also means you will have to be very careful from any kind of disease that multiplies, like virus. You will have to be very careful from boasting or speaking about your success too much because somebody can be jealous about you. This also means change in the hierarchy of the business, disinvestment of the business. You can sell out your business if you need so. This also means that you will also cut down your workforce because you are bound to restructure because of the unnecessary expenses. Organized direction is necessary So you may take some help of a learned person, because while Ketu will go in the 6th house, the good thing about you will be that Jupiter will be in the 11th house, aspecting the 7th house, and it will also give you a lot of stability. When Ketu goes in Vishakha Nakshatra, it also gives you multiple options, multiple chances to disintegrate the karmic curses and pay in multiple installments. So any remedy done to clear out the prarabdha karma will work brilliantly after April. Gemini Ascendant. For you, Ketu will make its move from 6th house to 5th house. And this is Vishakha Nakshatra. This means tensions and worries about your children, or a work, a project that you have worked on so hard, like as if that project is your children, it's your brainchild. You'll be worried about the future of that part of life. Because it impacts 6th and 5th house combined, it can also affect your stomach. It can also put you into a position where there are injections being applied in that part of the body. Women who are about to deliver can go for cesarean section operations. Some can also face appendicitis issues. So health is very much necessary. And if you're healthy enough, and if you consult a yoga teacher, and if it is permitted as per your health, then you can practice Kapalabhati pranayam. You need to eat slightly less than your hunger. Maybe you can divide your meal into multiple meals in a day, because Vishakha means division and Ketu is also a splitter, it is also a knife. So when Ketu goes in Vishakha, the factor by which Ketu divides increases multifold. Now, this also means that suddenly, for some people, especially those who have good moon and good sun, suddenly your life will become positive. Why? Because of the combined energy of 5th and 6th, the Purva Punya will balance out the Prarabdha Karma. So suddenly the blocked work, blocked task will suddenly start moving, and you will see that your productivity, although you are worried about it, will also become positive, and you will be more productive because you are now more focused on the result. So if you are result oriented, if you are goal oriented, then you will see that the Ketu in Vishakha is going to give you multiple ways to achieve the target, and you can choose the shortest and the most feasible path. But a sample study is necessary. So before you take your action, before you actually go and commit your action, before you do the task, you need to find out the path that you have taken. Is that path the shortest path? Is that path full of hurdles? Because you have to reach the destination. So what is the most feasible way to reach the destination? Should you go by a train? Should you go by flight? Should you go by bus? So you need to do that, you need to have that understanding. So a lot of study is necessary. And for students, you will see that doesn't matter how much you study, you will always feel that it is not enough. And in that case, just keep on studying. The hunger of education will also increase. So you can do some certification. If in case of any doubt on your abilities, just do some certification, learn something. Because you will have to constantly remind yourself that you know, because it will easily distract you. The core problem when Ketu goes in Vishakha is distraction. And 5th house is wisdom, 5th house is intellect, 5th house is expression, and you will be distracted from the right path. So constantly you will have to remind yourself. So plan your day in advance and see how much you are able to align yourself in that plan. It's a constant struggle, it's a constant effort. Make the best use of it. Cancer Ascendant. Ketu will move from 5th house to 4th house. This can make you worry about the health of your mother. This can make you feel that you need to focus more on your career and less at home. Multiple problems coming from the home front can trouble you, and you will feel dissatisfied with your life, with your achievements, with your success. And you would want to give more and more to the career, more and more towards gaining reputation in society, gaining appreciation. But wait, are you trying to live a life that is validated by the world, by the society? If yes, then you are mistaken. Because the Ketu will never cease causing deficits. Ketu will always create deficit, and you will have to counter that deficit. That is the nature of Ketu. It's mokshakari. So yes, you will have to give up few things, some comfort, and you will have to branch out. Maybe you will have to cut down on your sleep. Maybe you will have to go to a different city. Maybe you will have to take care more about your health so that you can work and function better in your career. And that necessary steps will create a good life in the future. Because when Ketu goes in Vishakha Nakshatra, Rahu goes in Bharani Nakshatra, that means the more you bear the pain, the more you struggle, the more successful you will become. And this also means that you will be branched, especially in your career. You will be branched to a section of career where you will be absolutely new and you will have to learn. So this is the best time for people who want to branch their career, who want to go for a complete portfolio change, who want to completely change, say from IT, they want to go to sales, from singing, they want to play cricket. It's a complete career change, it's a complete livelihood change. This is the best time. But yes, you will have to struggle a lot, you will have to give up a lot of things, it will demand a lot of sacrifices. This can trouble your mind in a way, especially if you are Virgo moon, and I'm talking specific Virgo moon and Cancer ascendant, it will trouble you a lot. So if you are a Virgo moon and Cancer ascendant and you are watching this, be ready for a lot of insecurities in life, especially from the part of assets that you have created. So be ready to handle such kind of situation with a calm and cool mind. In case of any problem, pray to Lord Shiva. And you can also chant Jupiter's Bij mantra, Om Gram Greem Gram Sah Gurve Namah, because your ascendant is Cancer, where Jupiter goes exalt. And when Ketu will be in Vishakha Nakshatra, in the sign of Libra, that is from April onwards, Jupiter will be in your 9th house, aspecting your 1st house, so don't worry. There is support, there is always guidance. And the moment you feel that you have lost your way, the moment you feel that you are mentally upset, you are disturbed, you are depressed, you have anxiety, you will need guidance, some spiritual guidance. Don't wait for the help to come down from the heavens, but reach out to the source who can help you. If you will wait, you will waste your time. Leo Ascendant. In case of Leo Ascendant, Ketu's movement will be in the 3rd house. So it will move from 4th, being in the 4th pada of Vishakha, and from April it will be in the 3rd house. This means change of home, dissolution of assets, creation of new assets with a hope that it will give you good returns. So be careful when you're trying to sell off the asset, when you're trying to break down one asset into 2 parts. For people who are trying to divide the wealth between family members, you will have to be careful. Fight can break out between brothers. So whenever the concept comes about assets, division of wealth, you need to have a harmonious talk. Sit down on the table, have a good talk, because Jupiter will be in the 8th house watching over all these things. And if you are the person who is trying to sell off a company, sell off a property in a hope that it will give you good returns in the future, again be very, very careful. Yes, Jupiter is in the 8th house. It is allowing the expansion, allowing the investment to give you good results. But when Ketu goes in the 3rd house from April in Vishakha Nakshatra, it will create huge imbalance in the way you will approach, you will put in efforts. It will make you run pillar to post. It will make you divide your efforts into multiple areas. You will have too many things on your plate, and that can put you into trouble. You will feel the weight of responsibilities, especially responsibility of a family member. Maybe it's a health issue. So in such cases, keep your head calm and cool, because Jupiter in the 8th house is watching over your 12th, 2nd and 4th house. Don't worry. Even if there is a problem, from June and July onwards, you will see good sign. At least from the transit, I can see that. Rest depends on your actual horoscope, your actual Mahadasha and Antardasha. One quick remedy that you can do is have 2 mobile phones, have 2 numbers to communicate, because 3rd house is the house of communication. Have a personal and professional number. In this way, you can divide your work. This is a very good time who wants to delegate the task, who wants to create a hierarchy, who wants to create a post under who can hand over his task and he can focus on something else. If you have some creative pursuit, you can follow that. On one side, you can hire someone who can manage a business, a part of your life, a part of your work. So it creates multiple hands. And more the hands, more will be the productivity. And this is a very good time for people who are involved in sales, people who are involved in marketing, digital marketing. You will see that you will have more clients, but wealth generation from each client can be slightly less. So you remember the famous phrase that 100 rupees from one source of income and 100 sources of income giving you 1 rupee each. When Ketu goes in Vishakha in the 3rd house, for you must create multiple sources of income, even if it gives you less amount of money. Collectively, it will protect you from any financial losses. Virgo Ascendant. In case of Virgo Ascendant, Ketu will move from 3rd to 2nd house. You have to take care about your communication. You won't know what you speak. Your communication will be all over the place. So in this case, you will have to practice silence and you will have to practice restraint. Remember, Ketu has a penetrating power. It has the power to cut, so your words can cut. But it is going to be very good if you are the one who is in the line of business where words are used as debate, like lawyers, like auditors. But for other people who are into creative field, who are into the normal 9 to 5 job, doing normal, living a normal life, Ketu's movement from 3rd to 2nd in the Vishakha Nakshatra only means that your words can actually create a job loss. Your wrong email, misplaced words, misplaced sentences can anger your bosses, can anger your supervisors. So you have to be very, very careful about that. Especially if you are writing something, saying something in social media, it can be misinterpreted very easily, especially from 8th February till 14th April. So you have to be very careful from that angle. The best way is to divide the money that is present in your bank account and start investing into small chunks. And that will give you good amount of revenue. Your money will be put to use. Otherwise, it will cause unnecessary expenses. And the problem with such kind of expenses will be, the expenses will be in smaller portions and the amount will be very high. So you won't even realize where the money is going. So you will have to financially plan your year in a way that it doesn't hurt you badly. And if you don't do that, then you will see that financially you are struggling, you're always falling short, and you're always insecure, because second house is the house of security. Now this also means that one of the family member may leave your home, may go for a study or for a job, or your words can cut your ties with a closed person. So be careful with how you talk with the near and dear ones, with the loved ones. People who have bad Saturn can also have some tooth related issue. Also some can face thyroid related issue. So take care of these areas of the body. And if you have any tooth related issue, you have to handle it. You have to go to the dentist and resolve this immediately, otherwise it can create a lot of pain. Overall, when Ketu goes from 3rd to 2nd in Vishakha Nakshatra, your words can act like wildfire. So if you're an influencer, you can utilize this time to influence people positively. And whatever you say will penetrate the mind and hearts of people. Use the power wisely. Libra Ascendant. Now if you are Libra Ascendant, then Ketu will be in the 2nd house, entering into Vishakha Nakshatra, and then it will move in the 1st house. Now this is where you will have to have a control and a grip on yourself, on your personality, on your life, on your expectation, on who you really are. Because Ketu will open up multiple layers of your personality and will make you vulnerable, especially when it goes in the sign of Libra. Most of the Vishakha Nakshatra results will be seen for you when Ketu will move on your ascendant. And in general, Ketu's transit in Vishakha Nakshatra in the 1st house means that you will have multiple opinions about yourself and you will hear multiple opinions about yourself. You will have some mood swings if your moon is not in a good shape. So what should you do? Well, this is the time when you can actually dig deep inside your own personality and figure out who you really are. This is the right time to follow the passion. This is the right time to believe in yourself and take a leap of faith. Remember, Jupiter is in the 6th house. It is in your prarabdha karma. You need to also fulfill your responsibility, and this will call for some sacrifice. This may also mean that you will be thrown out from the target. You will have some unforeseen circumstances in your life, and you should be ready with plan B and plan C in your life, because if you have no plan B or C, you will be caught off guard, because Jupiter in 6th house from April onwards would want you to fulfill and focus your duties and responsibilities before you think about yourself. Remember, Ketu is tail, so the head is in the 7th house. You need to focus on the outside world. You need to come out from your own self and reveal your true colors, reveal your true personality. Because even if you don't want to, somehow you will be able to. Somehow you will unknowingly reveal your true self. So be careful. Unnecessary anger, ego. If you are too proud about yourself, these energies will break apart, and then you will feel that nothing is going right for you. But if you focus more on adjusting yourself depending upon the situation, if you are ready to sacrifice your dreams and desire for a higher purpose, for a greater good, for your duties, you will see that not only you will feel content, but also you will realize your true potential, because the power of Ketu is to go deep inside your mind and heart and body. People who are trying to practice Kundalini meditation, it is a very good time. But yes, because it is Moving from the second to the first, you need to take care about few things like hair loss, eyesight problems, any damage on the head like injuries on the head. These are few common things which you just need to be aware about, and if you are cautious enough, you can avoid the problems. But when Ketu comes in first house, for the first 3-4 weeks, you won't believe in yourself. You will have to generate that belief. And you will believe too much on what the people have to say. You will not be able to take the criticism properly. Therefore, you need a lot of faith and support. Remember, Saturn is aspecting your ascendant. But this is only true till January 2023. Yes, Venus will no longer be in Vishakha Nakshatra after October, but it will still be on your ascendant. So be careful. This is the time when you branch out your physical self. This is the time when you realize that you are the Atman. You are not just the body, but you are also the soul. Ketu is a spiritual planet. Libra is a zodiac sign of balance. Ketu will throw you off the balance and you will constantly have to bring your life into balance. But you also need to make sure that your mind is not on multiple places. Don't go into a multi-threaded mode. Just go in a way that you are taking one task at a time, one step at a time, and then you will be in absolutely perfect position. Because if you risk, then it can damage, it can alter your personality, it can make you believe that you can't achieve anything. It will make you doubt your own abilities, your own capacity to win. But that's not true. If you just take care of these few things, you will be absolutely successful. Because when Ketu is in Vishakha, it's all about you. Scorpio Ascendant. Now for you, Ketu will be moving out from the Scorpio to Libra. It will enter the last pada of Vishakha. It will be in the final degrees of the Ketu. So this is going to impact you the most. Especially Ketu transit in the last pada of Vishakha, which is happening on 8th of February till 14th of April. It will have tremendous amount of life-changing impacts because Ketu was on your ascendant from past more than a year, and now it is moving out of your ascendant. So it is final brushing, final touches that Ketu is doing on your personality. If you have moon on this position, then it can be troublesome for you, so stay careful. After April, Ketu will move in the 12th house. This makes you spiritual. This will make you give up negativity. It will make you believe in yourself. It will make you aware about your responsibilities. But hey, you need to be careful about true responsibilities and pseudo responsibilities. Because if you are engaged in fulfilling the pseudo responsibilities, it's like you are studying maths when the examination is of science. You will fail. This guidance is available because Jupiter will be in the 5th house from April. So even if your life is disturbed till April, after April you will have the sigh of relief because Jupiter will aspect your trine, and 5th house is the house of wisdom. When Ketu is in 12th house, it means you have to give up a bad thing about yourself. Sacrifice a paap about yourself, a bad habit about yourself. And if you do that, if you take that sankalp, then Vishakha Nakshatra in the 12th house will disintegrate your losses. And this will protect you from facing a bigger loss. It will reduce the scale of event. You will have smaller losses, but it will be well within the range that you can handle, that you can adjust, that you can digest. This also means that the direction of success happens to be in foreign lands. So people who are trying to go to a foreign country, you will see that you will be successful with hurdles. People who want to leave the foreign land and come back to their motherland, it's good for them. If you are engaged in export and import business, if you want to diversify the portfolio of your business, of your export and import, it will be great. It will be a good time for this. This can make you, be careful, this can make you take loans. This can make you give up your equity, give up your share with a hope that this will give you good returns later on. Take that decision with utmost care, because it should not be that you have onboarded somebody in your business, you gave him a part of your business, you gave some responsibility, and later on it backfired. This is one angle which you have to be very careful. Financially, if you observe, because it is moving from 1st to 12th, suddenly the expenses will rise. Suddenly you will realize that you just need to, it's like a hungry person who just woke up from the sleep and he just want to eat some food, so he will consume whatever he has. Be careful from that part. And for people who have a certain planetary position, this means isolation, small surgeries. So health can be a concern. What should you do? You should practice yoga, pranayam, because Ketu in 12th is highly spiritual, highly evolved. And if it is the sign of Venus, Libra, and if you want balance of life, you need to give or divide life into material and spiritual, sharp contrast. A part of your life is material, and when you are material, you are not spiritual, and when you are spiritual, forget material. This sharp division on a day-to-day basis, like keeping half an hour for spiritual practices and forgetting any desire, don't ask anything, don't ask money, just focus on spiritual growth, and that will lead you to the path of success. Sagittarius Ascendant. For you, Ketu will move from the 12th house to the 11th house. This is where you gain lot of things. Why? Because the losses are disintegrating and it is slowly converting into gains. And Ketu is dragging it now. So you will get the output of your karma that you did probably a year before or 2 years before. That result will come now. So if you are waiting for a result, for an outcome of a karma that you did, especially if it is related to career and finance, then that will happen now. You can hope something to happen in the next 6 months. Ketu in 11th house in Vishakha Nakshatra talks about multiple sources of income. But it also talks about detachment. Detachment from a close friend. You will have so many people to talk. It's like you are addressing a public, but you are unable to relate with any one of them. It will also give you a chance to become so successful that tomorrow you will be able to talk about your achievements. For you, for the Sagittarius Ascendant natives, this is a very good transit. Especially if your Venus is strong, if you have a Moon-Venus conjunction, then this is going to be extremely positive. Ketu in 11th house talks about diversification of your portfolio. Say you are investing into stocks, try to diversify your investment. Try to have multiple sources of income. Don't just stick to one angle of income, have different streams. And if you are trying to create a new stream of income, this is the time when you will become successful, but exactly not the way you expect. Ketu is not the planet that will fulfill your aspirations. Ketu will only create a path. It's like you can track the course of a vehicle if you have the tracks laid out by the wheels. You can follow the tracks and you will know the direction of the vehicle. That's how Ketu works for you. So you will also be able to leave a mark. So do something good with this. Do something good in society. A part of your income should go for welfare, especially welfare towards specially abled people. Vishakha also means that people who are involved into implants, tattoos should be careful. It is better not to go into that path because that can cause infections, because Ketu is needles, pricks. Overall, Ketu transit in Vishakha Nakshatra for Sagittarius Ascendant will prove to be extremely beneficial. Just that, if you focus too much on the result, you won't get anything. Focus on the process. For you, karmanneva dhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. This shlok fits the best when Ketu is in Vishakha. I will talk more about Ketu transit when I will talk about Ketu transit in Libra, because that will cover the entire Libra zodiac sign. But for now, you can expect good things that will happen to you after April 2022. Capricorn Ascendant. For you, the movement of Ketu will be from 11th to 10th. Now, both 11th and 10th house are associated with career and career changes. This only means that if your Saturn is negative, if your Venus is afflicted, it can create a job loss or a risk of job loss. And this transit of Ketu in Vishakha is going to land you in a contractual job. So people who are working in a contractual job, people who are freelancers can benefit greatly from this transit. Saturn in the first house will continuously aspect Ketu, especially after July. You will see major career changes, but up to July you will see to and fro communication, lot of promises, less of real things happening in life. So stay strong, have faith, and keep doing what you're doing. 10th house means livelihood, 10th house means reputation. When Ketu goes there, it can put you into oblivion. That means you won't get any appreciation. That's a test. So because you are not judged properly, you are not appreciated properly, you would want to leave the firm, you would want to go into a different career. That is okay, because Ketu in the 10th house, in Vishakha Nakshatra, can branch your career out into a different stream altogether, and that is totally up to you. This is a transit where not just a job change will happen, but a complete industry transformation can happen. But if you hold on to the network, the team that you have created, then you will feel the pain, because you may be leading 10 people, 20 people, 100 people. There is a possibility that you will be put into a situation where your empire is lost. You are asked to create a new empire. The health of mother-in-law can be a concern here, so be careful on that part of life. Something that is happening in your spouse's family, maybe the extended family, can trouble your marriage, so balance that carefully. Act of selflessness will balance Ketu's energy in a way that even if there is a diversion, you won't lose the way. But there were people who, in search of gold, lost their life. They thought they will get gold somewhere. They went into the jungles. They lost their way, also their life. That's not worthy. Greed will dismantle your career, dismantle your reputation, will disintegrate your image in the society. Avoid controversies. Try to do social work, try to work for charity, and that will improve Ketu's energy. Also, going into an ashram, working for a guru, chanting a lot of mantras, living a spiritual life is going to be great. And if you are diversifying into wellness portfolio, yoga, healing, meditation, and if your profession is associated with that, even astrology, you will do great, because Ketu in Vishakha will give you a moment to cheer about your success. Aquarius Ascendant. Libra is in your 9th house, whereas Scorpio is in your 10th house. When Ketu goes there, it drags the direction, it puts your direction from karma to dharma. It branches your attention. So one part will be on your karma, what you're doing. But the other part will be a dilemma about dharma. What is your real dharma? Should you go left? Should you go right? Should you focus on career? Should you focus on family? Should you live in India? Should you go abroad? This dilemma will be part and parcel of the Ketu transit in Vishakha Nakshatra. And one mistake can actually cause a problem, because this is a test. How well you can manage karma and dharma together. Because if you can and if you will, then you will see the magic of Ketu when it moves out of Vishakha. You will have to bear some pain. It's like you will have to walk on a road full of sharp rocks and you don't have a shoe. It might be difficult. But that's the test. When Ketu enters the 4th pada of Vishakha Nakshatra in the sign of Scorpio, it is on the last leg of the 10th house. Good for a career change. But even when you are doing that career change, focus on the future of that. Because once your karma is fixed, then comes your dharma. And your dharma will be not on one side, but on multiple sides of life, multiple angles of life. Your one dharma will be towards your students, your one dharma can be towards your spouse, your one dharma can be towards yourself, your one dharma can be towards your family, and you will have to manage so many things. So when you are initiating a career change, try to ascertain that how will be your future. There should not be too many things on your plate, because if you do so, you are taking that load on yourself. Be ready to feel the pressure, because Rahu will be in Bharani very soon. The good thing is that Jupiter in the 2nd house will give you resources. Now it's like an examination hall. You are getting the resource, you are getting the pen, you are getting the paper, you are getting the question paper, you get the seat, you get the time. But you won't get support. It's your test. You want another sheet of paper, you will get it. Resources are available. You don't have scale, you don't have a calculator, you don't have pen, you will get that. That's Jupiter in the 2nd house. But then what about dharma? Which also means you will have to choose the prioritization of dharma. Which dharma supersedes which dharma? And how can you dynamically approach this? Say for example, A, B, C, D. You have to focus on all these things. All are important equally. But right at this moment, A needs you more, so be with A. But slightly reduce your attention towards B, C, D and immediately switch to D, because it needs you after A, and this is how you will have to dynamically shift. It will drain you, so it is better to replenish yourself by visiting temples, by chanting Shiva mantra, taking pranic healing, and following yoga and pranayama, because you will need that strength. Always talk to you that yes, I can do it. Self-motivation will be the biggest way you can actually become successful when Ketu will be in Vishakha Nakshatra. Every now and then take small breaks, go to a small quick vacations, branch out your mind, play Sudoku, do multiple activities in a day, keep yourself engaged. You will feel just fine. Pisces Ascendant. Now for you, the Ketu movement is interesting. Ketu moves from 9th to 8th house. And Rahu goes in the 2nd house. This movement in Vishakha Nakshatra talks about multiple areas of life that is giving you problems. And the cascading issues. So you need to find root cause of the problem before addressing. So don't go for symptomatic treatment of life's problem. Touch the base, touch the root. So a lot of analysis, lot of research is needed, especially in the areas of finances, investment, inheritance, taxation, and anything that has to do with the in-laws. Health can be a big concern if you don't take care of the food that you consume. Try to eat sattvic food. Remember, 8th house is the house of secrets. It's the house from where all the secret knowledge comes. And when Ketu goes there, you can be absolutely ignorant. You can suddenly have this assumption that you are victorious. Somebody can make you believe in that way. Jupiter is in your 1st house. So there is a sudden pride. When you will do this, Ketu will silently multiply the problem through the 8th house. So you should always focus on the 8th house, on the sudden events of your life, and astrology will help you a great way. Prashna Kundali analysis, if you can learn that, that can act as a brilliant tool to solve the problems on a day-to-day basis. And if you can't, at least track the moon, because tracking the moon will help you understand your mood and emotions. When moon is in afflicted zodiac sign or in afflicted state, debilitated moon with Rahu, Ketu, Saturn, don't take any major decisions. You can have a calendar and mark those dates like new moon day, moon in very close proximity to Ketu, moon in very close proximity to Rahu, and don't take any major decision on that day. But there is a special case here. If you are a Pisces moon and if you are a Pisces ascendant combined, that means moon is in your 1st house, then you might need the help of an astrologer, because Ketu, when it goes in the 8th house, it hits your blind spot and there is no way you will be able to figure out what is running in the 8th house. And if you can't, you need to figure out 2 things. The obstacles that you get during your journey, during your travel, or if it is impacting your married life and there is a family issues. In such cases, start chanting Shiva mantra, do Rudrashtakam, chant Rudrashtakam, go to Shiva temple, do 125,000 times chant of Om Namah Shivaya, Nada Brahma Pranayam. Try to follow holistic lifestyle, and then see whether if the problems in family, if the problems in marriage reduces. Alter the way you approach your life, because this is an indirect way of approaching Ketu. Also plant trees. The more life you will give to the planet, the more goodness will come back to you. This is the time when you can pull out your investment, put it into good instruments. You can actually utilize your inheritance and you can put it to good use. Or if you have created an unnecessary war in the family for the money, for the family wealth, and if it is not justified by Saturn, then you may lose it. So be careful. Greed is not an option if you are a Pisces ascendant. The good thing is Jupiter is in the first house. Make the best use of this transit by being spiritual and by uplifting yourself in the journey of spirituality. Read Bhagavad Gita, read Vedic scriptures, because that is the true knowledge. Remember, Ketu is penetrating the 8th house. You can actually go to the roots of the divine knowledge. It's totally up to you. So Ketu will be from February to October in Vishakha Nakshatra. This will act as a lightning bolt for all of us. For a lot of us, it will be a wake-up call. For a lot of us, it will be a sudden completion, a sudden fulfillment, a sudden increment in our life. And for some, it will be an out of nowhere downfall, and we will spend the entire month just to recover from the losses. It all depends whether you are living your life spiritually, if you are vibrating with higher frequencies, or you are still struggling on material grounds, on material needs. I'm not talking about something that is essential. I'm talking about greed. I'm talking about unnecessary show of power. Because Ketu in Libra will create imbalances, will create new world relations. You will see some really fascinating and interesting thing happening on a global scale, especially after April 2022. So that was a quick analysis, friends. I hope you like this, and if you like, please share the video among family and friends. Hit the bell icon so that you get notification, and follow me on Instagram and Telegram for interesting stuff. Lot more interesting stuff comes there. For consultations, drop me an email. We'll meet you in the next video. Till then, this is your host Puneet. Namaste.